Welcome to Van Tate's Sports Office, an in-depth look at the world of sports, featuring exclusive interviews with our KRQE News Sports Director, Van Tate, sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook at Route 66 Casino.
Sports Office talking about combat sports today. Why? Because we have the legend. Diego Sanchez is here talking about everything, his career. You know, this guy has been a UFC veteran. He's done all these things in his career, and he's going to do something for the very first time real soon. He's going to fight at the pit.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
You know what? I thought you had fought at the pit before.
No, never at the pit. I really worked hard with Dana White and the UFC to get UFC to the pit, but unfortunately they didn't have the weight-bearing ceiling to hold the Megatron thing. So, you know, we never were able to get it there. We got it to Tingley. We got it to Santa Ana, you know, so at least I was able to bring UFC here to Albuquerque 2 times. You know, that was me. I did that. But, yeah, no, the pit has always been a dream of mine because my first live fight that I ever seen in my life was Johnny Tapia at the pit. I believe also Danny Romero was on the card too. Yeah. And, you know, I just remember just being in the energy in the pit. And that was kind of the start to like a little glimmer in my eye. Like, oh, I like this fighting. You know, this is a very young man, but a young boy. I said, oh, I want to, that's cool, man. I like that. And, and now here it is, you know, I'm probably 30 years later. And I'm finally going to fight at the pit. None of it would have been possible without my amazing wife, Teresa Tapia Sanchez. And she made this happen. You know, shout out to Kenny Thomas for helping in any areas that he helped too. He's my boy. I want to say thank you to him and thank you to Teresa because this wouldn't happen without them. You
know, I go back and I look at it from Del Norte High School to the UFC to all these stops in between. For people might not know that when you were in high school, if you had the state championship on you had to win your match for Del Norte to win the state championship. And that's how we did the first thing on you. But talk about what you remember all of that?
Man, it's in my mind. That's engraved.
What year was that again?
The tablet of my mind. That was year 2000, year of the millennium.
Okay.
And and Coach Dotson, I will never forget him. Charlie Dotson, he goes, "You win, we win. You win, we win." I'm like, I'm surprised we didn't start headbutting each other. You know, that's how pumped up we were. Yeah, it was controversial. I had really seriously injured my ankle 1 week before in the district championships to another state champion, Henry Martinez from Santa Fe. And it was just a really epic story, and it was an honor for you to be the one that captured that moment. You know, I came out there and I pulled out the upset. You know, it was a remarkable story in that my sophomore year, my first year at varsity, I lost every single match the entire season. And so I came from being the number one.
I did not know that.
I came from being the number one loser. You know, and that could be a movie even. Just I lost every single match. I got my butt whooped, but I didn't quit, and I got tougher every time. And all I wanted was that Letterman jacket. Wow. And so I lost the whole regular season. I won 2 matches at the state tournament. So I won 2 on the losing side. And that actually, I earned my Letterman jacket. You know, I achieved my goal.
They got you into the final.
Got my Letterman jacket, and then I had self-belief, and I even being that loser that I was, I had it in my heart and in my mind that I was a champion, that I was gonna be a state champion. Even the next year, I was like, no, I'm gonna win that title. God put it in my heart. I'm gonna be a state champion wrestler. Wow. And I went after it hard. I ended up losing in my junior year. I made it to semifinals. From losing every match, I made it all the way to the semifinals the next year. Went to the loser side, ended up taking 6, and close matches to guys that I had beat in the season. and it was just a remarkable story. Ended up taking 6, but came back the next year and won it for myself, won it for the team, and still to this day, with my legendary combat sports career, nothing has ever felt better than winning that team title. The camaraderie, you're there with all those young boys. 4 years of work, 4 years of hard work, 4 years, and people don't give the wrestlers the credit and that they deserve in how hard it really is, because when you're in high school, weight management is. Oh man, could you imagine having a on top of the sport being tough, you got weight management to deal with. Just that alone, that
cheeseburger, man, that's not fair.
just that alone, just having to manage your weight while you're growing. While you're growing. So it's a hard sport. They've got better at it now. They've ironed out the kinks. It ain't so hardcore as it used to be. Right. Water break, no water. Man, it was just so hardcore. I mean, I hear it was even more hardcore in the 80s. The 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, and then you get into the 2010s, it started to water down, but it's great because now we got girl wrestling. Right, I think that's awesome. That's awesome. If you have a daughter and you want to pass your skill on to them, I firmly believe that there should be women's team and men's team. They shouldn't mix it at that age. But it's still evolving, just like combat sports is evolving. High school sports and wrestling is still evolving as well.
The conversation is just getting started. We have more on the other side. So with that said, we're talking about your high school career. Do you ever lean on that? Like when you're in some of these crazy UFC battles?
Well, it goes back. I'll answer the question because I know what the question is. Do I ever lean on that? Yes. Yes, I do. I leaned on that as going into the Ultimate Fighter. It was a big deal. I went after it with all my heart, all my soul. I made a lot of sacrifices. I always believed that you do the extra, you get the extra. And so, I applied that state championship mentality to my entire career. It got a little watered down when Raw Fame came into play, and that probably watered down my efforts at becoming a world champion. I stepped in there with one of the greatest of all time, and I could honestly say that this was BJ Penn's best showing, as he hired the Marinovich brothers to do his strength and conditioning training. This was the best BJ that anybody had ever seen. Wow. And he fired them the next fight, and that's when he lost to Frankie Edgar, another Hall of Fame UFC champion legend. Yeah. So the story's there. I went after it hard, but I didn't achieve my goal of becoming the UFC champion, but I still was a world champion in King of the Cage. I was a world champion, and I continue to strive for my legacy. My last fight was with Austin Trout, who is a current world champion. So I fought a current defending world champion for my last fight. The fight was stopped on cuts. There was some controversy due to vaselining the shoulders and neck. That way I was hindered in grabbing the clinch. I had to change the game plan. I didn't have the preparation to actually do the true boxing style with him. He got me with the jab. I learned the jab the hard way. There's nothing like learning something by getting it done to you, and learning the effectiveness of a technique by having it applied to you. And so sometimes you learn your best weapons by getting killed by that weapon.
How many fights you feel like you have left in you, and what happens after you finish up?
Sky's the limit. Fortunately, I have my two stepsons, Johnny and Nicolo, and they're both Johnny. They're both Johnny Nico Tapia and Johnny Lorenzo Tapia, and so one's 19, one's 23. So eventually, I'm gonna just give up on fighting myself. But it's really, really a cool story because I'm gonna continue to fight with them as they're getting started. They make their pro debut on the card with me, And so, I'm going to go into more just being their support system and being there for them and helping them not have to go through some of the stuff that I went through, and they got a great mother in my wife, Teresa Tapia, who, I wouldn't be here right now without her. She saved my life a couple times, and she's amazing, and she loves us. She loves the three of us like crazy. Takes great care of us, and amazing woman. Shout out to you, my beautiful honey boo. But let me get back to that Clay Guida story, because you did ask me a question, and I want to tell you. I came home, and there was this guy, and I went to a concert, and he was, and this goes back to like just being just a regular person. I was at the bar at a concert, and this guy's emotional, and he's venting to me about how his wife cheated on him with a cop, and he tells me, he says, Diego, you need to get back to Burke. And he's like, you're getting soft. He said, you need to get back to that street fighting. He said, you're gonna get out there and get loco. And I looked at him. I was like, this is when I became the Zen master. I was like, you might be right. And he was right, so thank you, Kavan Salas, for that. Big Kev Dog gave me that little gift that time, and I went out there for that fight, and I was like, oh my God, you were hyped, huh? I was excited for finally I got to fight another guy that was a great wrestler, a tough guy just like myself, but I was gonna get to have just like an elite level of striking. I always wanted to prove my striking, because I was a ground and pound. I fought smart. I took people down and I beat the hell out of them, and that meant I didn't take damage. I wasn't up there trying to do the chess match of trying to just let's see who can get the calculated punch. And no, I take you down. I'm not taking damage. Only you're taking damage. And then I ran into Division I national champion wrestlers that weren't so easy to take down. I had to adapt and evolve my style to learn how to strike, and I did a good job of it, and I never really truly got the credit for it, and that's why now I'm ending my career with just purely striking. The mixed martial arts and the grappling and the wrestling, it throws out your hips, it throws out your lower back, it throws out your knees, the stand up is it's fun. It's a fun game. It's a sport.
Right.
It's a fight. It's a fight, but it is a sport. And there's and I like it. It's a I'm a combat sports legend because I do it all. I competed at the highest levels of grappling. I competed at the highest levels of wrestling. I competed at the highest levels of mixed martial arts. I competed at the highest levels, and I fought everybody, the who's who. I think I defeated 7 world champions.
Stay with us. More conversation on the other side.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Monica Wicki here, host of New Mexico Living. I wanted to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Route 66 Casino and Caesars Sportsbook. If you love sports and like having a little action on the game, Caesars Sportsbook is your go-to destination. For rewards and more info, go to Route66Casino.com. Now back to the episode.
Well, speaking of that, who would you like to get? Name a fight that you want before you come.
Well, there's only one fight that's on my bucket list. That's my number one fight that I'll never give up on. And people would think you're crazy, say, oh, Diego, you're crazy for even wanting this fight. But the guy that I want to fight wants to fight me too. And that's Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor wants to fight in bare knuckle, as he is one of the owners of bare knuckle. He wants to fight in his own organization. And he has mentioned it twice publicly. It's on video. He wants to fight me. It's documented. Since he was fighting at 145 and I was at 170 when he was a little guy, he still wanted to fight me back then. We have some type of spiritual soul grudge, and we wanna fight each other. we just want to fight each other, and it's not about money. It's just we want to fight each other. We always have, and we always will. And we both have spoken into the ethers of the universe, into a manifestation that is going to happen. And so once he's out of contract jail with Dana White and the UFC, he's like me, he's getting a little at the end of the sport. He suffered that tragic leg break injury, that set him back, and he'll never be the same after that. And so he's kind of like me. I have some lower body injuries that I'll never be able to be in. MMA requires a lot of lower body dynamics. Yeah. And so I don't think he really wants to do the mixed martial arts either, and he's trying to get out of that contract, but he is the golden goose, and the golden goose gets what he wants. Yeah. And so if the golden goose wants to fight me, because when he does step into bare knuckle fighting championship, my last fight was with the champion. I don't think he wants a piece of Austin Trout for his comeback fight, coming off of 3 losses. And so he's going to want to fight a name. He's going to want to fight a guy with a legacy, and he's going to want to fight an older guy that's older than him, that try to highlight and make himself look good. And I'm the guy that says, hey, let's put a little extra chip on there, buddy. I'll fight you in Dublin. I'll go fight you in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, wow.
And I'll go fight you in your hometown, since I know that Dublin's so precious to you, and there's all the leprechauns out there. I'm a leprechaun nightmare. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take all your gold. And I'm going to take you home in a little sack and put you up on my shelf. And so, no, it's always me. You see the way I get even excited thinking about it. Yeah, but that possibility is still there for the Conor fight. I need to rack off a win here at this fight. I'd like to step into the ring with squared circle, I guess. Yeah. The BKFC. I'd like to step into the BKFC with possibly Donald Sanchez. Right. We have a little bit of a grudge. It's unfortunate because I really truly did support him in all his business endeavors, his career. We were friends. We trained together for about 5 good years. And it's Sanchez and Sanchez were like, I thought we were boys. But, I guess he wants to be the head Sanchez in town, and doesn't, but you never even made it into UFC. You never even made it into UFC, bro. I'm a UFC pioneer legend, dude, Hall of Famer. And you want to come and try to take that away from me, and it ain't going to be that easy, buddy. I'll street fight you. I don't even care about the money. I'm real burke. I think bare knuckle will be a good stage for that fight. We've talked about it. We've had some back and forth. He actually was going to be my opponent for this fight, April 12th. But he, after saying all that, signed the contract. He didn't end up signing the contract. I did sign the contract. He was afraid I was going to pull out of the fight and threatened the organization, saying, hey, I need half of my money up front or I won't do it, like a prima donna that he is. And it's like, bro, that's not the fight industry, bro. You get a contract, you sign. Yeah. Injuries happen, things happen, fights do get canceled. It's the fight industry. Right. You've been in it long enough to know that. Like you're doing it all for the fame. I'm happy for you that you got your businesses, that you got multiple businesses. You're making money. You're a great inspiration for all the Albuquerque people out there. Yeah, you're a great inspiration, man. You got a great roofing company. You're roofing champion of the world, bro. I'm Diego Nightmare Sanchez. I'm the Burque's baddest and best. And I'll prove it on the streets. I'll prove it in the cage. I'll prove it in the ring. I'll prove it in the squared circle. I do it on all aspects. And so, the challenge is out there to him. I put the challenge out there to him. Yeah, you want to fight me? The reason I didn't want to fight, the reason I wouldn't sign a contract to fight you in BKFC when I'm at a low point in my life, because they weren't going to pay me. They weren't going to pay me to fight you because your name wasn't big enough. Yeah. All right? And that's the reason why I never fought you in BKFC. But now you've built your name up a little bit. You fought some tin cans with 3-3 records. You're like, come on, bro. I fought over 10 world champions. You know, I beat 7 of them. You know, I've been in there with the best of the best of the best of the whole world. I went to Japan and beat Takanori Gomi, the best lightweight to ever come out of Japan, in Japan. Like, come on, bro. Like you got to just give me my respect, give me my due respect for what I did. Don't try to knock me down to try to come and steal the Sanchez name here in Albuquerque. You know? It's comedic to me. It's comedic to me. I hope the story gets out there. But yeah. Anyway, you know, next topic. Next case.
Well, we're actually out of time, man. But it's always a pleasure to have you on because, like in my own words, I say Diego Sanchez, great fighter, also a soundbite machine.
Hey, man, shout out to my beautiful little daughter, Deja Rose Sanchez. You are the gem of my life. I love you. My wife, Teresa Tapia, and everybody else, you know, my boys and my mother. You're amazing. And I fight for my familia, and that's what Albuquerque's all about. And we're about the fam. And I'm here, and I got some things I got to handle. You know, I want to reach my optimal health again. Now I got support with Teresa. She's getting me the right doctors, and she's getting me everything. And I overcome these injuries, and I'm gonna make another run for it because I did stay young. You know, like I'm 43, and there's maybe 1 or 2 grays in that beard, you know. Yeah. But you know, I'm still healthy, you know, as I can speak, you know, and I prove that, you know, I have eloquence in my speech. I can talk, you know. I don't have a stutter, you know. Yeah. I took good care of myself, and I'm healthy still.
Well, cool, man. I thank you for your time. As always, appreciate it. UFC veteran, Hall of Fame career. You know, like his fight with Clay Guida, you got to see that. That's a Hall of Fame fight. He got inducted with that fight. Big fight. Diego Sanchez, combat veteran. You all know him from around here. I'm Van Tate, Fernando Perez behind the controls. And we'll see you next time.